Welcome back to another Colorful Keto with Dory, and I'm super excited. We have got the most amazing guest coming on with us tonight. We are going to meet Super Keto Clara, Coach Jess, and Keto Sasquatch. And we're going to talk about family keto, we're going to talk about keto for epilepsy, and we're going to talk about keto for kids. I'm so excited. There's Miss Jess. Oh, it says you're unable to join, Jessica. I don't know why it says you're not able to. For some reason, it's telling me I cannot add you. I don't know why. Are you on a laptop or on an iMac maybe? I don't know if we can try on your phone, perhaps. But I'll give you a second to get it all sorted out because we're so excited to talk with you today. Yay! We got to meet at KetoCon, so I actually, for some reason, did not get any pictures, and I don't know why I didn't get any pictures. Everything got busy, and we were going to try to sit down and do a live there, but man, KetoCon was absolutely insane. So many people, so much information, so many speakers. It was absolutely crazy. And yes, Miss Wendy, it was amazing to meet them all at KetoCon. We met in the epilepsy talk, and I'm so glad that I attended that one. For my brother, for any of my people who need that information, I'm really glad that that was one of the ones that I got to attend, because I'll tell you guys a secret, I did not see a third of what I intended because there was so much to happen. Yay! We're gonna go with Jess. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. We're connecting. It's gonna happen. I can feel it. Yay! Do we have sound? Let me pause this and see. Can I hear you? Yay, we do have sound. Oh my goodness.
To the phone.
It feels like forever since I've seen you, little one. You look amazing. And you're wearing my favorite kitty ears. Meow.
Always different ears every day, pretty much.
Oh, ears and tiaras are right on the same level. And everything is better with ears or a tiara. I'm just going to put that out there. How was your day, little one? Good.
What'd you do today?
I love it when you ask kids a question and they go.
And then we have the Sasquatch over here.
Hello, how's your day? Happy Monday.
You see where she gets her disposition.
Right? Well, you know what? Some of us are butterflies. And some of us are not, right? My guy always says he doesn't have to talk to anybody. He's got me, and I'll just go do that.
Right.
I love it. So why don't you introduce you and the family? Because as crazy as it sounds, I know some of my people don't know who you are yet.
Oh!
I know. I don't know how that could be. But there's at least 3 people watching who don't know who you are. So tell us about you, darling.
My name's Jessica Reynolds. I have been keto, we're going on 3 years.
Wow.
And I lost 135 pounds eating keto.
Oh.
And got off my anxiety meds and my meds for bladder disease and for migraine. So it's changed my life. And now I help other people also live a ketogenic lifestyle. This is my daughter, Super Keto Clara. You want to say something about you?
No.
So Clara has been keto almost 2 years. We did put her on it for epilepsy.
Yes.
And it has been extremely successful. She's been able to get off meds and is doing terrific.
Yes.
And all kinds of amazing accomplishments at school with her keto brain. And then there is the Keto Sasquatch. Say hey.
Hey. Yo, dude, sup?
And Mike's been keto 2 years. And he is a ketogenic athlete. He does what are the races you do?
Spartan.
Oh, the Spartan races.
Yes.
And stuff like that. And also works out regularly. He's currently carnivore keto.
Ooh, let's talk about that a little bit. Because I came back with a lot of curiosity, and my group in general has a lot of curiosity about carnivore. Wendy decided to start when we got back from KetoCon. Because man, did we eat carnivore when we were there. And it agreed with her. Not so much me. But it was great for her.
Some people it works better for, some people it doesn't. I never liked vegetables or fruit, so it works fine for me.
No. Did you find that they bothered your stomach, or you were just a typical guy and you didn't like?
Pretty much.
Okay.
I just didn't like them.
Well, and you know what? That's fair. Sometimes we don't like things because they're not meant for our body, particular. And a lot of men tend to lean towards carnivore. And I won't lie, I was having a chat with someone the other day, and they're like, oh, it's more manly. It just sounds more manly than keto. You can be like, I'm a carnivore, dude.
You know, it's funny, though, in our household, we don't buy vegetables all that much. We, if Clara asks for something, we do, but it's not, I don't plan out big, elaborate meals with vegetables. It's just, if she's in the mood for something, we grab it, or she has salad, but for the most part, we're carnivore-ish. Yeah, as Clara said, the most part, we're meat.
Well, and you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. There really isn't anything wrong with that. For me, I need the veggies. When I did the carnivore at KetoCon, man, I was hurting. I was hurting. We went back after 2 days of hurting, and I had 3 Brussels sprouts with a tablespoon of bacon fat on it, and I was like, oh, I'm the queen of the world. I love you, vegetables. I love you.
Brussels sprouts are our favorite here also. We love the Brussels sprouts and bacon.
Oh,
butter.
yes.
Clara said, but they do make the house stink. You're right about that.
Well, they're kind of stinky. When I was little like you, Clara, I used to call them baby cabbages, and I used to insist on peeling them by the leaves.
Yeah, me
Weirdo
too.
child.
I used to like broccoli trees, too. So.
Oh, yes.
But yeah, that. Clara likes broccoli. What else do you like?
Broccoli.
Lots of salad.
Salad.
Yes.
Not usually celery unless it's slathered in ranch.
But then there's your fat. Celery if it's slathered in ranch.
Oh, slathered is my favorite word, I think. Slathered. Do you know what I found's my new favorite on celery? The other day, I made maple bacon walnut butter. And it is so good.
It was simply amazing.
Oh, I took it to the amusement park yesterday with pork rinds because I thought everyone's going to be having the cinnamon churros and the mini donuts, and I wanted something sweet and fat and quick and easy. So it was pork rinds and that did me the day. It was amazing. So
Clara likes pork rinds with a lot of butter, a little bit of swerve, and cinnamon. And we shake them up in the bag, and that's a great snack for her.
Have you tried the caramel pork rind cereal? Because it's very similar to that. So I'll send you the recipe. It's basically your butter, your cinnamon, your swerve. You melt it all together, pour it over your pork rinds, and bake them to make it like a candy cereal. Amazing. Oh, so good. So good. I love it.
Yeah.
So
last time I just pork rinds and all that stuff in a bowl and then put almond milk.
Yeah, it sounds like if you baked it, it would be like more sturdy.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, and it kind of makes it more like a cereal texture and not quite, it doesn't go soggy because you make a caramel sauce and then pour that over. And it's kind of similar to, I would almost say like puffed wheat squares in the texture of what you get the caramel to go over top. But I love, love, love. I had a hard time giving up cereal because I was an evening cereal eater, not for breakfast, but cereal's the best bedtime snack. So, what's your favorite bedtime snack?
yeah, berries.
Berries with
cream and all.
Oh, yes. Nice.
She just gets a big old cup and puts berries and
Oh.
heavy cream and almond butter and mixes it all up and chows
Oh,
down.
yum. My favorite is I use sour cream with sweetener instead of yogurt because I can't get a good yogurt. And
Me
then,
too.
It's good.
high five, it tastes exactly like Greek yogurt, but it's
Yes,
less
it
carbs.
really- I think it tastes better. I think it's super creamy and fattier and
Oh, I
all
love
that
it.
good stuff.
And then I'll add like maybe a little bit of pralines and cream flavor, and then throw some pecans and some coconut in there, and just, that's my favorite bedtime snack. And the chia pudding, do you guys make that at your house?
We have never had that.
Ooh, you're gonna have to try that one because it's fun and it's easy. So you take your cup of almond milk or coconut milk and you add a couple tablespoons of chia seed, some flax seed. I throw in some ground nuts, and then when it sits in the fridge overnight, it comes out like this.
Oh, weird.
And then I made a really cool recipe. If you look at the kids' Easter chia pudding, and I made it really fun colors, and then layered it and put sparkles on it. But it's kind of like oatmeal. So you can eat it like a cold cereal, or you can heat it up like oatmeal, and I throw some butter and cinnamon and swerve on it, and it's awesome, awesome good. But it's one of those things I make up once a week, and I just keep it in my fridge. Quick, easy snacks.
Cool.
Easy,
Good.
easy.
It's a great idea.
Yes. So
I think we repeat a lot of the same things.
Right?
So it's cool to try something new every once in a while.
Well, because you get into that rut. And I find a lot of people, especially when they're new, they know they can have meat, they know they can have salad. So they'll meat and salad, meat and salad, meat and salad, and then all of a sudden you're like, if I see another salad,
Yeah, I get that way with eggs.
yes, eggs. And you're like, if I see one more egg, dude, one more. Don't even show me an egg. Because in the
Eggs
beginning,
are
you know
making
you
me
can have that.
violent.
Right? I will get violent. So I have a question for you, Miss Clara, about before when you were on medication. A, how that made you feel and how it affected you at school, and the difference you see now that you're not on medications anymore.
Well, with my medicine, I was tired a lot and more emotional too. And also with school, I was doing average, like I wasn't doing bad. I'd get A's and B's, but now I do better and get usually all A's.
Nice. And do you find it's easier when you're at school to concentrate and to do things like, you know, repetitive tasks that you have to do at school?
Yeah.
Remember your testing this year?
Yeah, and I scored an 11th grade 5-month score on my achievement testing.
Wow. That is
In fifth grade.
amazing. That's amazing. And how long have you been seizure free?
I've had one seizure in 2 years.
Wow. And how many did you used to have?
Every few months.
Every few months I'd have a couple.
That we know about.
Right. We know she had some seizure activity at night, but we would miss it. You know, we would know because of the symptoms the next day or other things that had happened. But yeah, I mean, our life has changed dramatically, and we're really, really grateful to be a keto family. I think we all started keto for different reasons. My blood pressure was crazy high, and I realized I was going to have a stroke. And so I started, and then upon researching and realizing how good it was for epilepsy, we said, we can't know something that might help her and not do it. Like, we felt that was our responsibility.
And did you have any resistance from her doctor when you went that route? When you originally decided that this is what you wanted for your child, did you have issues finding a doctor that was okay with that would support you in that?
You know what was so amazing? She's the best neurologist. I just love him. And we actually went to his office. We were going to talk about her being keto, and we noticed he had a some information on the Charlie Foundation, and we're like, oh, this is it. It was such a relief to know that he was supportive, and we were just thrilled. And he's been very, very supportive of using the ketogenic diet for treating her, and it's so awesome to have a doctor that's not a pill pusher. Like he is really about, you know, experimenting, staying off them, managing it through her diet. And Clara's gone to, I think part of the reason why her doctor was supportive is that Clara herself went away to camp without us and stayed keto. You know, she was able to share those things with her neurologist, and he saw that at her age she could even do it on her own. So,
and that makes all the difference, right? As a parent, that's one thing that we always worry about. You know, we can only control what our children do when they're with us. So when they're outside of our range of influence, will they go off plan? Will they gorge themselves on sugar and carbs? So I'm so proud of you, Clara, for taking your own health in your own hands. Because you know what? Some grown-ups don't even know how to do that, you know.
It's true. A lot of people have a lot of reasons why they can't. And a lot of times I say, look at my, you know, 11-year-old. She started when she was 9, and she's made the choice to stay keto in really difficult situations. Social stuff. I mean, at the fair, spending the night with friends, you know, school parties. If she can do that, any of us can.
I believe that. And you know what? I hear the array of excuses. Oh, I work at an office and people always bring treats and food. Well, you know what? There's a couple things you can do. You know, keep some seasoned nuts. Do your, you know, what I do is I melt them with coconut oil, and then I add the swerve and the cinnamon, and I toast them. So keep some toasted nuts. Do you know what? Even keep a mix for a 1-minute muffin in your desk drawer, so that when people come in with cake, you can quick run to the kitchen and make yourself a mug cake and go sit down at your desk with it. We don't have to eat the things that people bring us to eat. We do get to choose those. And Dr. Ken Berry gave me a really good idea. He said, just tell people you're allergic. Oh, you know, I recently spoke to my doctor, and apparently I have an aversion to wheat and sugar. Who knew, girl? Who knew?
I say something similar in restaurants. You know, we say
I'm allergic.
And they're like, right. Clara knows it too. We say,
you might die.
What? I discovered I have a bad reaction to grains, and they're like, okay. And I remember the first time I said it, my husband said, what's the bad reaction? I said, I get really fat. Yeah. They don't need to know what the reaction is. I do have a bad reaction.
I do. It was very bad. And you know what? Yeah. Carbs make me crazy now. Like, when I eat them, all of the issues I used to have, like the anxiety, the depression, the mental scattered, that all comes right back to me. Yes. Is it not just me? Like, I literally feel like I woke up from a life of fog. I felt like I never actually lived, like my brain never worked.
Yes, that's what I feel, the exact same way. Like, I came alive at 41 years old.
Me
and
too.
Now I'm 44. I've been alive for 3 years.
I feel that way too.
Always in a fog, but now it's not.
And anxiety. Let's talk a little bit about that. Because you know what? I don't think we can talk enough about the health benefits of a ketogenic diet. So let's touch a little on that. How long were you keto before you started to see an improvement in your anxiety symptoms?
Well, one of the big things is not only have I had anxiety, but I suffered with bulimia and compulsive overeating since age 11.
Yeah.
So it was all sort of tied together. When I was 2 months in to, clean keto, had not cheated, I realized this was different. This was not some other diet. I felt different. And like you said, you come out of the fog, and I'm not saying the anxiety went away immediately, but it's almost like I had been hounded by fear since a child. And I started to be able to think clearly. And in thinking clearly, I realized the things I was afraid of were not real. It was just, a negative belief. So I think, I've done some behavioral therapy, but I certainly credit keto for helping me be able to work through the issues, because therapy did not work for me in the past. I needed the ketones. My brain loves them. But yeah, 2 months in, I realized I hadn't binged and purged, and that was like the longest I had gone in many, many, many years, and that made me realize this was something special and something different. And even now, we talked about social situations where people have food and stuff. Yes. And I just will simply say, and I don't know why people tend to be high pressure with food sometimes. Maybe they just think you're not having a good time.
Yeah. If you love me, you'll eat it.
Feel guilty eating it in front of you or something, right? But I just say, I'll never go back to what made me fat and sick. Like, I never will. I don't want to forget how bad the anxiety was. I took anxiety and I took the meds since I was 16 years old up until the time I was 41. So life without them, I didn't know what that was. But I'm able to think clearly. It's the lack of fear. I look forward to the future. I'm excited when I wake up. I mean, it's entirely different. My whole life is different.
I want to ask you about the keto brain, because I want to know if it works for you the way it does for me. The only one bad thing that I have found with keto is I don't sleep in anymore. There is no sleep till 9. There's no sleep till noon. There is, my eyes pop open at 7 o'clock in the morning and my brain goes, hey, keto time. And I'm like, no, dude, it's Sunday. No, keto.
I wake up before the alarm. I mean,
yes.
Set one, but every day I'm already up. It's like, hello, it's time.
Good morning.
So, yeah.
I think that's the only downfall.
My days are more productive. I have more time in my life. I spent so much time in bed, depressed and anxious, and with social anxiety. And there's a point I didn't leave the house for 5 months. So again, this is why I carry the torch, just like you. It's personal.
Yep. Well, and it's a real thing.
Other people suffering, and I just want them to know there's a way to get better.
And it's a real thing. It's not just a, shake it off, outgrow it. There's actual physical things wrong with what's going into your body that doesn't allow you to process properly. You weren't broken. You just didn't have the right information. Your brain would have always worked this well. You just didn't know how to feed it properly. I didn't know. Yeah. I had no idea. And for me, I just woke up one day and I thought, when was the last time I was so miserable I couldn't get out of bed? And I couldn't remember. The last time I couldn't get out of bed. And all of a sudden it occurred to me, hey, guess what? I'm not aching all day, every day either. I wonder when that happened. And it didn't take that long, before you see the good benefits.
I would say 2 months. In 2 months, the changes were dramatic in terms of mental health, mental clarity. And again, I mean, I think I didn't put a lot of pressure on Mike to start keto. He was still kind of doing his thing. We'd been married for a really long time. We'd always been like partners in crime. We got fat together. We got thin together. We binge ate together. But this is the one time I decided I have to do this no matter what he does. But I think he saw this was different for me. He saw this was not the same as every other diet that I had done. He saw me changing. He saw the depression lifting, and that made him want to do it too. So he joined me a few months later.
And I want
to add, honey,
talk a little bit about that too, because you know what? A lot of us don't start as a family. A lot of us start just on our own. And I have a lot of ladies in my group say to me, you know what, Dory, I'm having a really hard time because my family still wants regular food. I want their food and I'm having a really, really hard time. But you know what? A lot of us don't live in a bubble where we don't get to, you know, I didn't get to toss all the non-keto food out of my house, so it wasn't a temptation. I had to learn to live with it in my house. And I had to learn that, yes, it's there, and yes, I can eat it, and no, nobody's looking. Nobody will even catch me, but I can make myself sick, and I will make myself sick if I do that.
Right. Well, I mean, I think for me, I really had to look at it for what it was, and that's addiction.
Yes.
I know that I couldn't. I tried to do other low carb diets. I did lots of other things. I actually lost weight and gained weight, lost weight and gained weight. Never helped with my mental illness either. But I know if I start, it spirals out of control. And like I said, Mike and I were kind of partners in crime. We would say, you know what, we're just going to take this one day off.
Yeah.
And then, oh, you know what, let's just make it the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
We'll start on Monday.
Start again next week. We've already blown this week.
Right. Or let's start the beginning of next month. We're halfway through this one. And so it turned into such a spiral. That's how I got to be 309 pounds. I mean, that's what I was at one point, and I didn't leave the house. I was winded trying to walk up the stairs. I didn't do anything. Nope. I had stopped participating in life. But I think the difference was I didn't try to make my family keto.
Yes.
And I think that's what, you know, we see people around us that are suffering. They also have depression or they're sick. And people preach to them.
That doesn't help.
And it's not the way. People really resent that.
They do.
Really do. We have to show them with how we live. And I kind of got it. I mean, some of my family at first didn't know what to think, and they had seen me do 100 other diets. So it didn't, you know, they just assumed this was another thing I was doing. But again, I think they saw me change, and then that's what made them interested.
1,000,000%. And you know what? I always say this. You don't have to preach your diet to anybody. You just live well, you look good, you feel good. And you know what? They're going to come knocking on your door and they're going to say, oh my God, Jessica, what have you been doing? Tell me your secret. Girl, shut up and take my money. Like, shut up and take my money. I need to look like you. And that's how people will be with you when you just live it. You do not need to be knocking on doors and saying, hey, have you heard the good word of keto?
Right.
I could save your life today.
Fact, people resent that. It makes them be not interested in it.
Well, and how many times did people in your life tell you they knew how you were going to lose weight? Because I know it happened to me all the time. Right. All of the time. I even had one girl who was a friend of a friend who, at my biggest, 290 pounds, I don't even know why she would talk to anybody like that. But she said, you know, Dory, I used to be fat like you, and now I'm thin. Look at me. I'm a size 00. And you know what? You could be thin like me too. I'm going to tell you what you do. So I got me a heavy labor job, and every day I buy me a big bottle of water and a bag of chips. And I eat one of those chips, and then I throw them out the window. And I just drink water all day. So I was like, okay, so if I starve myself, I could be thin just like you? And she's like, oh yeah, Dory, you know, you just need the willpower to starve yourself.
You know, that's crazy, because I mean, I mentioned past of eating disorders. Anorexia was part of that for me when I was younger. I struggled more with compulsive eating and bulimia when I got older. But the reality is, it doesn't work long term. It has nothing to do with willpower.
No.
Willpower is not even in the equation. It's, in fact, some of us who suffer from eating disorders have the most willpower of anybody I've ever seen. But starving yourself temporarily can make you lose weight, but you're going to rebound. You're killing your metabolism, you know? And it's also just not healthy. I'm at the point at 44 years old that I actually care about health now, and I never have. It was always weight loss. And now it's like, I care what food does to my body.
And that's
so
new.
It isn't about what I can or can't eat. It's what I choose to eat based on what it does for me.
And I don't know about you, but pre-keto for me, everything I ate came out of a box or out of a can. And I never flipped over that box to read the ingredients because I didn't care. That was on the other side from the directions, you know.
Right.
And I just didn't care.
For me, the focus was, because I did a lot of different diets. In fact, like all of them probably.
Everyone.
I had times where I had compulsively tracked calories, or, I mean, I think for a couple years I stayed under 20 grams of fat a day, because that was the thing back in the 90s, you know, is to be really low fat. So for me, I was in the habit of looking at nutrition information, not so much ingredients, but looking at nutrition information, but I was following the wrong advice. I was trying to keep it super low calorie and super low fat. And ultimately, I always rebounded. And it was actually kind of an exciting thing in researching and reading a lot of work from Dr. Fung.
Yes.
Like Keto, I'm like, wait, no wonder this stuff didn't work for me long term. It was such a release to say, metabolically, I could not maintain that.
Yes.
Even if I stayed at 800 calories a day, I would start to gain weight. Now I understand why. So it's been a journey of healing, and also just forgiveness for the things that I did to my body before.
And let's talk about that a little bit, because you know what? We carry a lot of guilt for how we used to live, a lot of shame for how we used to live. I know that for me, I'm still really working through self-love and body dysmorphia, because wow, do I not see myself realistically? Have I never seen myself realistically? When I was fat, I never thought I was that fat. And now I don't feel as thin as people think I am. In my mind, I'm still a size 14, not a 7. So how do you work around that? How do you tackle that in your personal life?
Personally, I think one of the things is being aware that what I see isn't necessarily the truth.
Yes.
You know, for many years, I thought what I saw was real. So if someone told me otherwise, I thought they were lying.
Right? Are you sure?
Say that to me, you know, like, what do you want from me?
Why would you even?
So realizing that what you see isn't necessarily what's there.
Yes.
And one of the things I had to do was prove to myself that what I saw was not true, either from looking at a before and after picture or putting my old pants on.
Yes.
I can't trust my eyes, but I can trust that I'm standing in one leg of these pants.
Yes.
You know? So I literally, to come around, I had to do things like that to prove to myself that I had changed physically. There are days, even now, I still wake up and I'm like, oh, I feel like the same person. Like, I feel like maybe I don't look different. And I have to remember that that's a lie. And remind myself of the truth. You know, the truth is, I lost 135 pounds. Doesn't matter what I feel like. That's a fact.
That is a fact.
You know? So confronting it with facts versus what I see has helped me through it. The other thing, you know, I work with people a lot on body image. They mostly have eating disorders, the people I work with. And one of the things I ask them to do is look in the mirror, and when they think that horrible thought about themselves, like, oh man, my thighs look big, immediately stop and say how grateful they are.
Yes.
I am so grateful. For example, if I have that thought, I'll say out loud, I am so grateful for all the time that my legs carried me when I was so heavy. And I'm so grateful that I've been able to come back from that and still, you know, have legs that work. So gratitude helps fight through the negative self-talk.
Yes.
And it's not something that comes naturally, because that would be, it just doesn't.
No.
You have to choose it every single day.
Well, and what I do is I remember, because, girl, I do not forget that feeling of when you get up in the morning and your legs don't quite work yet. The pins, the needles, the pain is so bad. You crawl your way along the wall to the toilet and you sit there for 20 minutes and you cry until your legs work. And I thought, you know, there was something wrong with me, and there was. I just was carrying around so much weight that when I got up in the morning, my body was not ready to handle that. And it literally took me a half an hour. And that's what I remember. That's what motivates me. That pain, that feeling, that humiliation of not being able to just get out of bed and walk to the toilet.
I can remember like similar sort of things, but I remember I couldn't tie my own shoes.
Yes.
I tied my shoes for like 3 or 4 years. And then even to the point, I remember it was winter, and I had so much inflammation that I had to still wear flip-flops, which it may not have mattered because I wasn't leaving the house. I was a hermit at that point. But I like positive. I like positive thoughts for staying motivated.
Yes.
Like, I wonder what the best version of me is going to look like. I love that. But on the other hand, I want to always remember how I felt. So if there's ever temptation, and there's always going to be temptation
every day.
You are super hungry, angry, lonely, tired, all those conditions that set you up to eat in the past, when they come around, I have to say, no, whatever it is not worth going back to feeling like I felt, just like you said, in the morning, and not being able to participate in my children's lives, or be a very good wife, or be a very good mom. And that's just a fact.
It's a shameful fact, but I can admit to that one too. You know, I didn't go outside and play with my son. I didn't take him to sporting things. We didn't do those things because I didn't want to. I didn't want people to look at me or judge me. And you know what? As long as I was in my own house, nobody told me I looked fat.
Yeah. You know, I think that's true. I was ashamed. Clara, I think the first couple of years of school, I never met her teachers or went to her classes really in first or second grade. I may have seen them once at the end of the year, but I was too ashamed. She was a cheerleader, and Mike took her to every single one. I never saw her cheer. And that kind of wounds my heart.
Yes.
But it makes me so appreciate now.
Yes.
You know? I mean, Clara, things are pretty different, huh? I come to things now.
And you know what? I saw a live a couple of weeks ago.
I keto her class parties now.
Yay. And they were talking about that specifically. You know what? Love your family more than you hate yourself. Because I hated myself so much that I was not there. I was not present in my family. I'm not in the pictures. I was always hiding. I never wanted anybody to see me. And when they did take a picture, I'd make them burn it. Because I never felt that fat until somebody took a picture of me. Because in my own head, I could pretend that's not what I looked like. And when I saw the picture of it, I was like, okay, so the camera adds 10 pounds. How many of those you have on me, paparazzi?
8, yes.
I wasn't fat like that yesterday.
I noticed our older daughter, Lauren, joined at some point. I don't know if she's still on here. But she had our first grandson 3 years ago, and it breaks my heart because I was at my heaviest weight when she had him, and there are so few pictures of me and him, and I keep thinking when he's older he's going to think that Lolly wasn't there.
Lolly didn't love me.
And the reality is I was always there, you know, and even if there were pictures, you know, I cropped myself out of them, and there's a lot of regret there. But I also know that it's worth looking back at and saying, I don't want to be in that situation again. I want to be present. I want people to know I was involved. I want him to know. But it's just, you can't go back and get that time. I can't go back and get pictures of me holding this baby. And that's so hard, but it helps me. It motivates me for now.
Well, and what we can do is remember how that felt. Because even when I first started doing my videos, which I'll tell you a secret, was only in November of last year. I've only been doing recipes, videos, lives for the last 7 months. And when I look back at my beginning lives in November, even those I'm horrified by. I'm like, oh my God, look at how roly I am. I can't believe nobody comments, why is this fat girl talking to us about diet? And I look at them, and when I look back at them, I think, oh God, I don't want anybody to look at them. But I leave them out there because it's where I started. It's where I came from. And you know what? In 7 months, I look completely different than I do in my videos 7 months ago. And the old me would have gone back and deleted them all. I would have deleted it all.
It's more inspiring for people to see us during the journey.
Yes.
Because they almost can't relate to an after.
They can't.
I can remember the first time I decided to actually share a before picture. Nobody saw me when I was that fat because I didn't go anywhere. And so I remember being absolutely horrified, but at the same time hitting post was like this, a ton of weight off my shoulders.
Yes.
And I realized that people need to see the truth, that I was like they were. When they just see us at the end and not during the transformation, they can't relate. So I'm so glad I started sharing earlier on, and not just like, hey, here's my after, because people just feel like it's not achievable for them. No. And it is for anyone. I believe that.
And I want to talk about that a little bit, because there's a lot of schools of thought on that. Now, when I first started, everybody said, oh, Dory, people just want to see a thin person and hear how they did it. That's it. They don't care about anything else. They want to see that you're thin. They want to hear how you did it. And then I encountered this, because the whole time I was dreading the fat comments. It's my mindset. And then people started saying things like this. No offense, but does Dory just like keto? She looks like she's always been thin. I don't think I can relate to her. And I'm like, dude, do you want to just follow me around all day long and say I look thin? Because ain't nobody ever said thin to me before. Like, this is a brand new word for me. But then I realized they don't see me like I used to be. They don't know who I used to be. They don't know that I was 290 pounds and I hid in my house all day because I didn't want anybody to look at me. And then you see someone like Jimmy Moore, and he's amazing. Is he not the most amazing man? And since we got back from KetoCon, do you know how much negativity I've seen in posts and stuff where people say, oh, you know, maybe you should walk the walk a little, Jimmy, before. Maybe you need to look the part. You know what? Maybe you need to step off of the platform until you lose a little weight and you can actually know what you're talking about. And that says to me, okay, if I invited someone to my group and said, you know what, you need to lose 50 pounds before you can share in my group, sorry. I'd like for you to know what you're talking about. That's not true. Somebody can come into my group day one and say, hi, this is day one of my journey. I want to share. Share. You have every right to share.
It's about reality. I think that when you just see the beginning and the end, people can't identify with the struggle. They don't even, they can't even believe it's real. I remember I used to look at before and afters, and I thought,
it's not even the same person.
That people didn't post their transformations along the way. They didn't post during the journey, and I'm really glad to see that has changed in the last 3 years. And more people are being vulnerable and sharing those things because people are attracted to what they identify with. They see themselves in you. A lot of people I work with either have eating disorders or they started at the same weight that I did. There's something they see in you that reflects them, and it's so important that we share it. And it doesn't, whatever your weight is, it doesn't take away from your knowledge. That's the whole thing with that, you know, that you were talking about. Like, if you have a gift for sharing, if you have knowledge about keto and health, why would you not share that? Why would you wait?
It doesn't even make sense to me.
Why would you say, well, I'm not good enough to share this now, when you can help save and change people's lives, you know?
And you don't know who your story will inspire. And it's hard to share. I'm not going to lie. It is so hard to get on live and open yourself up to people and tell them things that you hid. You know, I did shameful food hiding things. I think I've been more open with the people on the internet than people I've spent my entire life with, because we don't share. We don't ever tell those things. They're secrets. They're our secrets.
One of my most shameful things that I now openly talk about is I was so depressed, and I had been on meds for so long that they really didn't work anymore. I had electric shock therapy.
Oh, wow.
Which is, you know, for me, that was the biggest mistake of my life. My doctors encouraged it, pushed it, but it had a lot of negative consequences to me. So I was ashamed that I made that decision. And now I just put it out there. There's other people that are either considering it, or they feel ashamed that, you know, or they're dealing with some of the same consequences that I deal with, like memory loss. Yes. But keto helped. I mean, technically that's a traumatic brain injury.
Yes.
And I had 12 sessions of it. Keto brought me back. And it didn't return all that I lost, but it made me better. Yes. I'm a better version of myself. It's not like, oh, I want to be back to the old me. That was kind of the most I had hoped for. But the reality's better than that.
Yes.
You know, when your brain starts working like it's meant to be, then you can't realize the fog until you're not in it anymore. But keto really brought me back.
And you know what? For me, I find the same thing. The more I share about my story, the more people come to me who are like me. You know, we have been fat our whole lives. We have depression issues, anxiety issues, you know, irritable bowel syndrome, PCOS, you know, any array of the issues that I used to have. And of course, anyone who's had a bariatric surgery. Because in my ultimate desperation, I even went that far. And I had a bariatric surgery, and that's a hard one. I won't lie. I debated a lot when I started doing keto. Do you put that out there, or do you don't? Because people will judge you based on that too, and say, oh, good for you, you lost weight, but you didn't really do it. But I still had to learn how to eat healthy. At the end of my surgery, I was not size-wise or body-wise where I ever wanted to be. And I never was going to get there just with surgery. I always knew it was just a step. One small step in my health journey. But I find a lot of people will judge you for those steps that you take along the way. So you think, you know, oh, do I go out there and do I say I was bulimic? Do I go out there and say, hey, I had a bariatric surgery? Do I tell people, you know, I was bipolar and I cured that, like Harry Brown? Put it out there, because your story will change someone's life, even if it's someone's life.
Yeah, I believe that. I also think that all the things that we're discussing, whether it's our weight, whether it's mental health, bariatric surgery, all the things that, all those hard decisions that we've made, when we put it out there, it opens us up to relationships with other people. And I think that's the whole thing. It's the relationships that are created. People see hope in your story. Yes. All those things too are secrets, and I believe with all my heart, secrets keep us sick. When we shine a light on the secret things, they no longer thrive. And so for someone to speak about something that is considered taboo, like many mental health issues are, I think it is very healing for people to hear, you know what, I always saw this girl on Facebook, I thought she had it all together. I know there are people that would say that about me. Like, I always thought Jessica had it all together. It's because I hid it. Yeah. You know, I want them to know that things aren't what they look like. And that inspires me to be real all the time. And tell when I struggle and tell what it is. But yeah, so, you know, I'm like you. I love keto. It's life-changing. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful my family's keto.
Yes. So when we close up, I want to give you a moment to shameless plug. I want you to tell us about your coaching service, group, anywhere we can contact you, and you know what you can provide to help people, because you're out there, you're fighting the good fight. So it's shameless plug time, baby.
Okay, so I'll shameless plug a little bit, but I'll preface it by saying right now I am sold out on coaching.
Okay, fair enough.
I'll have some openings coming up in the coming months.
Okay.
I work for Brian Williamson, Keto Evangelist Coaching.
Excellent, yes.
And I am one of the coaches that all of them are awesome. There's lots to choose from, and I always tell people, pick the person you identify with.
Yes.
There's great stories there. My clients tend to have eating disorders. They tend to have mental health issues.
Yes.
We work through a whole lot more than food. It's the behaviors that created the situation they're in.
Yes.
And that's what we spend most of our time on. And keto's a tool. So we do talk about food. We use keto as a tool, but it's much more about creating permanent change through change in behaviors, realizing why you've done what you've done. So a lot of behavioral coaching. Clara has a page on Facebook, Super Keto Clara.
She does.
We are so proud of that because we share her journey too, her struggles, what it's like to be a keto kid. How are you an 11-year-old and stay keto at camp when no one's making you? You know, so I think that's so important. And then my husband is the Keto Sasquatch on Instagram, and he's Mike Reynolds. He shows a lot of more of the workout aspect of it. So many people think you can't be muscular or cut when you eat a high-fat diet. And he definitely does, and it's just such a great example of how you really can build muscle on keto.
Yes.
You don't need those carbs to make it happen.
I love it.
So yeah, I'm Coach Jessica on Facebook and on Instagram, and I'd love for anyone to follow my journey if they want to. And I'd love to answer questions. People message me all the time. I love to answer questions and help them out, even if they're not ready for coaching.
Well, we love you. And you know what? Our favorite keto family, like above and beyond. Miss Clara, you are so precious. Absolutely amazing. And I love your super sweet, quiet personality. It's the opposite of me. Hi, Toby. We love Toby, too.
Yeah, he's pretty great. But we appreciate you having us on.
Thank you.
The opportunity just to get to tell more people and share hope that things can change, you know, even for a kid with epilepsy.
Yes, and let's do it again when you guys have time. Because you know what? We can't talk about this stuff enough.
Clara said, if you can send me a list of questions ahead of time.
Do you know what? I can do that, Clara. I'm a fly by the seat of my pants kind of girl, but you know what? I'd make an exception for you because you're a VIP, baby.
Say thank you.
Love you, girl. Have a good night.
Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye, guys.
All right, bye.